So it just landed, and it's a beautiful day in La Crosse, Wisconsin right now. We're parked at Colgan Air Services, and I want to introduce you to my good friend and colleague, Taylor Anderson. You can follow her on Instagram at taylor.an, and Taylor is from Minneapolis. And I gotta say that living in Chicago, it is cold in the winter, but in Minneapolis,
it is much colder.
Absolutely. So today we're together trying to get ready and figure out where our head's at and getting prepped for winter flying. The last thing we want to do is get caught 5 minutes before a flight and be in harsh winter conditions. So this is a video on our top 3 ideas on where our head's at so that you can get prepared for winter flying and follow what we do. So come along, let's go take a look and show you where our head's at.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about today has absolutely nothing to do with the airplane itself. We're actually going to talk about coming outside and being prepared with warm winter gear. You'll notice I'm wearing a jacket from our Cirrus store. You can go on to cirrusstore.com if you want a cool Cirrus jacket as well. But it might look super nice and warm out today, but it is just above freezing here in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and we are very cold. When you're out here and you're freezing, you might want to be skipping corners on your pre-flight, and we want to make sure that you're bundled up so that you are not skipping corners, that you're doing a thorough pre-flight, and you're not trying to rush through it in order to get out of those colder temperatures. Dressing appropriately is a huge key component to that. As we're getting into the winter season, consider icing conditions and wearing appropriate footwear as well. Being from Duluth, Minnesota myself, wearing boots with good traction on the ramp is incredibly important. So take those considerations in mind when you're preparing to come out to the airport to prepare for your flight. So leave a comment below and let us know how you prepare yourself in terms of your cool fashion choices for that winter flying.
So where my head always goes to is equipment. There's a few things that I want to really double check and make sure. This is my 3 little mental checklist before I go, is make sure that I keep the heat in the airplane as long as I can. I want to make sure I have access to electricity. And the third is, if I really am getting into icing, I want to make sure I plan my flight out and call ahead and make sure we have the right amount of de-ice fluid, or I can at least purchase TKS fluid where I'm going. Now let me show you the equipment that I have always on board in winter flying conditions no matter what. Let's get into the baggage compartment. So these are the things that I keep in the baggage compartment all the time during the winter. The biggest thing that I do, I absolutely do not leave home without, are cowl plugs. These are so important. Not only do a lot of people think they just keep the birds out and everything, but in order to pre-flight or retain heat in your engine's cowling, I literally land in the winter and put these in immediately. I try to keep as much heat as I can, and we're gonna go do that here right now. So I really try to aggressively, when I park and land, I get these in as fast as I can. Obviously doing it safely and making sure everything is out there. I don't panic about it, but it's the first thing I try, where my head goes when I try to land. So I'll put these in to retain the heat. I'll put them in, and I put them over the propeller, so that way if I accidentally forget to pull these out in my pre-flight, the propeller will fling them out rather than suck them into the engine. So it's really important. So, you know, one thing that you can notice is that this flap will flap around or it gets frayed. I've got to reinstall and create a little flag that comes up so that I can see over the cowling that a little visual indicator that there's a little flag down there that means that, oh, maybe I forgot to put take my cowl plugs out. So cowl plugs are in, that's great. Let me show you the next thing. All right, so the other thing that I carry is a 100-foot extension cord. This is absolutely clutch. Believe me, I've been a foot too short sometimes. I've had a 50-foot, a 75-foot, and this thing will be able to stretch from our engine heater, quite frankly, all the way to the other side to this hangar here if we absolutely need it to do that. So, or it's easy to reposition the plane that's comfortable for the FBO. So this is absolutely key, because if your engine sits and it's cold soaked and it's below 20 degrees, you might have to find either a warm heated hangar or you're going to be stranded for a long time, or grab a crew car to go into town and grab an extension cord. 100 feet, really, really important.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is TKS fluid. So being from Minneapolis, I'm flying in icing conditions quite frequently, and it's really important to make sure that I always have access to TKS fluid should I need it. Here in LaCeres, we need a minimum of 5 gallons of TKS fluid for dispatch purposes. What I do personally is always call ahead to FBOs to make sure that I'll be able to get TKS should I need it.
So these are the things that we often think about playing blocking and tackling, defense, offense with winter flying, but our last tip doesn't involve the airplane at all. It actually involves the computer. So we're gonna go inside and show you what we mean by being at the computer and getting ready for winter flying. Hey, we get it. TKS is a pretty complex subject, so you can expect another video on how we personally manage it. I mean, we fly almost every single day in the winter in Chicago, Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas, and we'll give you our little hacks on how we manage that. So we're sitting down with the computer, and it's time for us to complete ahead of time our icing awareness course. Remember, it's a legal requirement to every 2 years, 24 calendar months, to complete this course. Taylor's just finishing up now. Let's take a look.
So I've just about finished my online icing course, and I never want to be rushing myself right before a flight into icing conditions to be trying to finish this course. So I'm going to show you how you can prepare yourself and get this course done well ahead of time. So first thing, we're going to go to cirrusapproach.com. You'll notice it's right on our front page here because it's very, very important during this season to make sure that you have this icing course done. I'm already logged in, so I'll show you what my account looks like. So your icing awareness course, you're going to get a certificate at the end of it. Like Al mentioned, that's required every 24 months to fly into known icing conditions. I've taken this course several times now, and every time I pick up new information that's incredibly valuable and important information to know if you're flying in icing conditions.
So there you go. You can see where our head's at. We fly almost every day in the winter in pretty cold climates. So, you know, it's really about adopting a mindset and feeling good while doing that. So being warm and comfortable for you as a human is probably the most important thing. You want to make sure you're warm and comfortable so you don't take and cut corners while you're pre-flighting on the ramp. There's certain equipment. Remember, we've got our electricity, our extension cord, our cowl plugs to retain the heat, and we try to always think ahead for TKS fluid. And then finally, just making sure that we're legal and, more importantly, feeling good and refreshed with the icing awareness, of course. So those are our best tips. Leave a comment below. We'd love to know how you prepare and where your head goes for cold weather flying. And as always, if you enjoy this video and you find value out of it, please like and subscribe to the channel. Lots of great things are coming along, and a really cool community that's building. So appreciate everyone's comments and support and being a part of it. And a huge shout out to Taylor. Thanks for being a part of this. You're more of a cold weather expert than I am, being in Minneapolis. And you can give her a follow on Instagram by following her at taylor.an and just follow along where you go. So really cool.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.